It's Don here from the board. Thank you for coming along and checking out another one of our videos. It's been about a week or so since I did the last video, so of course we're back here doing another video. This week I'm going to be having a look at the Outemu ice switches. I have a little sample pack here, so thank you very much to Reese from Melbourne for sending these to me. I didn't really know terribly much about these switches and I had to look them up a little bit, but there's this really great review that somebody else had posted on Reddit, and I will actually also link that if you wanted to have a read of it. Prior to this, I didn't have terribly much exposure to Outemu switches. The only switch that I had played with was the Outemu Blue switch, as that was what was installed in the pluggable 10 keyless keyboard that I'd reviewed a little while ago. So when Reese had said, I've got a couple of these sample packs spare, is anyone interested in checking them out? I was like, yep, definitely, for sure. And of course, what that does mean is I also get to add some switches to my switch collection if they sort of meet the criteria of being a clicky switch to at least go into this board, which every one of these switches are a clicky. So let's just get right into it. So the actual switch tester that I was, the sample kit, sorry, that I was sent contains 5 switches, as you can see here. I'm just trying to open this little baggie that they come in. Not successfully, mind you. There we go. Trying to be delicate, but not quite delicate. And they got some really nice colored stems on them. So we've got a light purple, a dark purple, we've got a grey, we've got ice blues, and then we've got ice teals. So I realize that's a little bit on the small side on the camera at the moment because they're so far away on the desk, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mount them temporarily into the plate here, and that way I can sort of hold them up and do a bit of direct side-by-side kind of comparisons. Make sure I should flip them around the right way. It's handy being able to do that into the plate. There we go. And lucky last. So you can see they fit the normal standard MX profile at least into a plate of sorts. Just got to get them to snap all the way in. There we go. Okay, so they're in. Alrighty, so let's go over their technical specs from what I could find. The light purples, 55 gram bottom out, and they are a tactile, so they don't really have much of a click sound. The dark purples are a 68 gram bottom out tactile. Once again, not really terribly much of a sound. The greys are a 75 gram bottom out tactile. And then we've got the ice blues, 62 gram bottom out, which is a clicky. And then we've got the ice teals, which is meant to be about 80 grams bottom out, and also a clicky. So I don't know if the mic picked that up very well. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do what I did before, which is I'm going to set. Wait, what's the camera doing? Come on. It's having a difficult time finding something. There we go. So I'm just going to put something there to sort of rest that up against, and then I'm going to drop the microphone so I can get a little bit more of a clearer sound sample, I suppose is the best way of describing it. So we'll just go from left to right. We'll position that nice and close. So the light purples, dark purple, the greys, the ice blue, and then the ice teal. So there is a bit of a reverb that's happening from the plate there, but at least it's kind of consistent between the different switches. I suppose if I hold it up this way in front, you don't get that reverb because I'm holding onto the plate and dampening that a little bit more. In terms of feel and tactility, they do have a very pronounced bump for the tactile switches. Just see if I can pull out Do I have like a... I've got a cherry brown somewhere. Here we go. So I've got a brown, cherry brown. That's a kale brown. Okay. So definitely against the kale brown, it is more pronounced. I don't have a Zelio, so I can't really test it against the Zelio. That's a linear red. That's no good. That's a black, which is also a linear. As you can see, I've got stuff everywhere, as most keyboard people tend to have if they've been in the game for a while. Unfortunately, which of course this is my old sub-story from very long ago, my switches still have not come home from their switch tester that they were living in, so my actual full-on collection has been unfortunately depleted. So there's an actual cherry brown there, and feeling that against these, there is definitely a much more tactile response on these Outemu Ice. It's very defined in that bump going up, and then the drop off is more notable than the cherry brown. So if you like something that has a bit more of a tactile bump to it, then I would say the Outemu Ices is probably not a bad choice. In terms of the clicky, it's a good sounding clicky. I had already mentioned as part of the pluggable review that the Outemu Blues were very sharp, very loud, and these are really no different. I mean, if we compare now on the clicky board, let's just punch these back out and move them so they're next to the others instead of being lonely somewhere. So just put them into a different row. Come on, you can do this. Oh. Get in there, you bastard. Rightio. So I got the teals and the blues. No particular order really. Alright, so if we just do the sound test, I guess, between the others, well, it's probably not really much point since the, as in doing it in front of the camera, since the microphone's blocking the camera anyway. So, cherry blue, Gatoron blue, Outemu Ice blue, Outemu Ice teal. Cherry blue, Gatoron blue, Outemu Ice blue, Outemu Ice teal. Now, kale bronze? Kale gold stem thingy? Brass? I don't know. And then box whites. So, Outemu Ice blue, Ice teal. I would say that out of all of these, the box whites are still the loudest and crispest. I've got the Aristotle, bit muted. I've got the SMKs, muted. The Fosen, muted. It still goes back to the kale switches, the kale bronze thing, whichever that brownie color. I can't remember what they are. Copper, bronze. And the box white. The box white is definitely still the sharpest and loudest out of all of those. So there you go. So that's what they sound like. Now the other things I suppose to talk about with these is they've got the translucent housing, very similar to the kale switches there, but they come default with the Outemu version of hold tights. They're basically just a pin that you can pop into your PCB and you solder, and then allows you to hot swap. It's interesting that they come with them on a default, because when I first got these, I didn't realize that, and I was like, whoa, okay, they've got like Outemu proprietary pins on them, since they look so alien. I'm just going to put that up a bit closer so you can kind of see what I'm talking about, if it'll focus. There we go. So it's got those, silver pin caps that sit over them instead of the normal leaf spring. but apparently, yeah, they do come off. So you can actually just pull them off with pliers, which I haven't tried to do, but I will take other people's words for it for the moment. These also support SMDs, so you can see that they have a gap space, a large gap space for SMDs, which is pretty good, just like the cow switches do as well. So there you go. Rightio. So that's it for my very simple review. Good tactility. The weights not too notable, just on single switch pressing. It's got a moderate click, but definitely not as loud as the box white or the Kalih, whatever that color switch is, the copper. Can never remember these things because there's so many bloody switches out there now. What we'll be doing is we will be giving away a whole bunch of these as part of our 900 subscriber giveaway competition. So when we hit 900 subscribers, all these guys will be finding new homes. There we go. There's the last one. So I've actually got 7 of these spare. 7. All ready to go. And I'll ship them anywhere in the world to those who win them. So at the moment we're at 887 subscribers, I believe, off the top of my head. So when we hit 900, I'll run another Gleam IO comp, and then these will go to new homes, courtesy of Reese from Melbourne. And of course, if you're lucky enough to win more than one, then you can either share the love, or you can maybe start building your own macro pad, because then you'll have 10 switches. If you win all 7 of them, you'll have 35 switches. So, sorry, 35? 7 5s? 35s? Yeah, something like that. It's too early in the morning for this maths thing. Alrighty, so thanks very much for coming along and checking out the video. And of course, don't forget we have our weekly podcasts. Recently there's been a couple of episodes that Kevin's done as specials. He's interviewed his roommate Kevin, and he's also had a chat with Jacob's Mirror about Top Ray. At least the first part has been released, and I think they're going to be doing part 2 very soon. And we've also got our Facebook page, and we've also got our Patreon as well. So links below in the video. And yeah, I hope you all have a great week. And until next time, of course, as usual, happy clacking.